welcome to my channel. It's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and many of you may remember now, this has been a while, but a subscriber did send me this extremely bad canvas. So they did receive this from, well, you can already see it's Evermoment. Now Evermoment did put it right with them. They did send them another canvas, but they have sent me this, or they sent me this back then, way back then, so that I could see if it could be fixed, for those that maybe have sellers that don't put it right. So I thought we'd have a look at it today. So it is double-sided tape, and if you look at the back of the canvas, in fact I don't know why I peeled all that off, we're going to look at the back. There are what we call puckers. So this is not just a little bump that can be flattened out, this is actually like it's been pinched and scrunched up. So what I want to do is see if I can fix any of these puckers. So we have quite a big one down here, and then we have quite a big one up here, and they're the two that I'm going to work on mainly. There is also a little third one down here. So I'm going to use a mixture of an iron, which doesn't come out very often, but did come out for another video. So I thought while it's here, let's use it. You know, it can be my once a year type thing. So I'm going to use a combination of an iron and a craft knife. I think that's the way I'm going to work. We're going to see if it works, because normally if it's this puckered, I pretty much demand another canvas or ask for another canvas, just like this lady did. So I'm going to, first off, I'm going to cut down where these rivers are. Now the reason I'm doing this is that I want to make sure that the double-sided tape that is stuck down, because they stick them down in sheets, so this sort of strip is the strip of double-sided tape, is I want to make sure that whenever I flatten down this canvas, if I manage to, that the double-sided tape will move and allow the canvas to flatten out. Now, of course, if you had a big crater that was bigger, you know, than the size of a diamond, it could end up with no glue on. But this is sort of my starting point, is using the craft knife, not enough to cut through the canvas. But if we see here, this is puckered up here. If I pull it straight, I want the glue to give with it, which means I need to make sure that it is cut enough to let any air out. So primarily I want to just go down the line with the craft knife, but then I am going to cut across as well, just so that the air has got another place to escape. And I'm just sort of doing all the puckers that are around this area, because it is a very big canvas, this one. So now what I'm going to do is flatten down this top sheet as much as I can, pulling and pushing the canvas while I'm at it. The reason I need to put the top sheet back down is, of course, because if I'm going to iron it and turn it over, then I need to be able to not hit, to not stick to my desk. Now I'm trying to pull the canvas as much as I can when I do, because I don't want this paper to then not give. So I'm going to pull again. See, we've got a very big crease up there. Okay, so it's not a perfect join, but let's see if I can get that one a little bit further over this way. It looks as though it's got creased when they're putting the double-sided tape on and they just haven't cared. Whoever's done it. No, we're still going to end up with that bigger gap. Okay, so what I now want to do, I've not done any of this up here, is I've done this big long crease here. See if I can get the angle so you can see it. There we go. And I've done this little one here and this one, and I think I may have touched on parts of this one. So every time I've done this, well, when I ironed onto the back of a canvas for a poured glue, I found that using steam and a higher setting but with a tea towel worked the best. But I kind of want to be able to follow these lines. I'm not interested in the rest of the canvas. I want to follow these lines and get these lines out. So I'm wondering, okay, so I've still got steam on, but I'm wondering whether I can just follow them, whether that's going to get, oh no, that could work. Okay, so I'm just following. I'm trying not to touch down on it too much. I'm just using the top of my iron at the moment, and the rest follows but lifted up from the canvas. Sorry if I get steamed up now, because I have got steam on and I haven't got my iron flat on my desk, and it does spit every now and then, my iron. Sorry, look, this is where you'll steam up. Okay, so this first pucker here that went all the way down to here, this now is flat up to about here. About here seems to be struggling, and then this top section here. Now it could just be that it needs that steam coming up behind it, so I'm going to move the canvas over a bit. In fact, what's suffering more with this steamed canvas is my piece of card that I normally have under my clear desk mat, but I moved my desk mat out of the way because it's plastic. I ain't going there with the plastic. I'm just going to open my craft room door a bit as well because it's full. Okay, so I'm going on to a tea towel now to see if I can get a bit further afar. Okay, so that seems to be working. Okay, there is hope for this canvas. So I'm actually going to put the tea towel fully underneath where I want to do. We'll check the state of the canvas in a minute and say this, the lady who sent me this has got another canvas. In fact, I want to turn this round. The reason being is I followed the crease from where it started to push it out rather than trying to push it into nowhere. So I'm going to work on this big crease here now, but I want to start at this end and push it flat and out. So let's see how we go. Now I am actually letting the iron sit on the canvas. And hopefully the glue's not mucked up, but we'll see. Okay, so that crease is also flat. And while we're here, let's do this little mini one. Okay, so to let you guys know, I've currently got it set on wool, but with steam. I did find when working with poured glue that steam helped. So, to show you the difference now, if I can get it on the light. So, this up here is the puckers that the canvas still has. They have got a little ridge. There is actually, my nail can fit over that. It has got a bump. That's more what we'll call it, a bump. So, this one here also has a bump, but the bumps down here have gone. There's still a mark, but the bump itself has gone, which means you could work on the canvas. So let's have a look and check the canvas didn't suffer any ill will. So the glue still looks fine. It's moved, of course, where the pucker was, but it's laid itself flat. And then to go to the next part of it, in fact, let's see if we can pull it all back again. So this is a very large canvas to work with, but let's see if we can see if I can catch the difference on camera between the one that's done and the one that isn't. So this is the glue right where the big one was. So yes, you can see a line, but it is not all scrunched up. Up here is where it's scrunched up. So let's see if I zoom in. It's very hard to make sure that this can be seen on camera. So I'm not sure if you can catch it there. Can you see this is sort of puckered up? It's bunched together, whereas this line here is no longer bunched together because there's no longer that pucker underneath that part of the diamond painting. It's gone because I've ironed it out. So you can fix a puckered canvas. I don't see why we should. I do think that they should have steps in place to make sure that that doesn't happen. But we all know things can happen and do happen. So let's zoom out and let's go on a big fixing session. Because, as I say, this painting is ginormous. I don't know what size it is because she has taken the legend, probably so that she could use it to create symbols for her other one. But let's see what it looks like if we can get the whole thing to turn over. So can we, I don't know if we can see the difference in the canvas. So these are the big puckers. So hard to get an angle. There we go. So I think you can see them there. Yeah, so there we go. You can see all the big puckers down the canvas there, and that's what we had all the way through it. Whereas if we go to this side now, we don't have them here. We just have them here where, sorry, get it so you can see my finger. We've got them here, but we've not worked on that yet. What we've worked on is this bit here, where there was some. Not even this bit we've not worked on yet, I don't think. Well, no, we have flattened this one, which is why you can't see it as much, but we haven't flattened the others. So that is how to fix a mucked up canvas. So if you find you get a canvas with puckers, iron it. I would still, as I say, give it a cut to make sure. So it's a bit harder to work on this because it's so big. It's a gorgeous image though. It is a gorgeous image. So let's have a look at the bottom half of this now. So just cutting down all the way through the puckers that I can see. Give it a few across the edge just for good measure, just to make sure the air can get out wherever it needs to. Have we got any more? Yeah, we've got another one there. Okay, they're the ones that we dealt with. So let me just fold that part back, because I can't get the whole depth of this on my desk. So I'm going to turn it around now so that we have, I can do the other section, and then once the paper's all down and back and it's all been cut, we can iron the whole lot. So I did trim this one before, but I'm just making sure that I've got all the way up the whole of the crease. Do a few slices across for good measure, and all the way down this one. There is quite a few. and some slices. The rest of this one, we did get most of it, but again, for good measure. Okay, so I'm going to flatten this down now as flat as I can, because the iron will do the rest, and we can always rejig this top paper again afterwards. And then I'm going to scoot it up the back of my desk, behind my lights. No, I'm not. It's not working. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm trying not to sort of unfold the rest of the canvas, but I do need to get the rest of this section with the knife. I think we're up to about there. Now, of course, if you were doing this yourself on a canvas this size, you could find a work surface big enough, not one where you need to get in a camera shot. I think I've done this one already, but I'm doing it again because it doesn't do any harm however much you cut the glue, the double-sided tape. You know, you're not peeling it all off. All you're doing is giving it room to move if it needs to, and it may well stretch to a certain extent, but I would rather make sure that we're giving it space to breathe. I don't think there's one there, but it was reflecting the light. There's definitely one there, definitely one here. That's quite a big one, and there's another one here. Okay, so that's now everything cut. And you could possibly get it out by just pulling the canvas, but I think as taking it to task and ironing it is better. So I'm going to carry on from the end that I was on. Am I? Yeah, I may have to roll the canvas a little bit. Say I did get 3 creases down here, but there is another little one that I want to make sure I've got, and a couple more here, and then we'll turn it round. So again, I'm going in the direction of the crease because I want to push whatever air or tightness there is in the opposite direction. So this is where you test your right-handed and left-handed ironing skills. This one doesn't want to come out as much, so this one's a little bit tighter. So maybe let's loosen the backing sheet a bit. See if we can pull it a little bit. There we go. So we're doing a mixture on this one, a mixture of pulling and ironing, because the pucker was quite big. Sorry, my iron does spit every now and then, but as soon as I use it, I say about once a year, there's not much point in investing in a new one. So again, this one is quite tight, so I'm going to lift off the backing paper, but then as I'm laying it back down, I'm going to pull it, and that will allow us now to have the space, because of the top cover paper, to iron that out. And there we go. So we've managed to iron that one out now by pulling it. So let's do the same with this next one. So it's because it's such a big canvas, is half of the battle. If the sticky wasn't there, of course it would be a lot easier, but it is. So I'm just going to pull the canvas and then flatten it down. So there may be little tiny gaps in between the cover paper, but we can sort those out later. I just want to make sure that it pulls enough that I can iron this to make it want to stay flat rather than puckered, which is what it's done, sat in that box for however many months, is it stayed puckered because that's what it thought it should do. And that's not the case. Okay, so that is the bottom half of the canvas fixed. Whew, it's warm. So you can see there is gaps in the paper, only little ones though, so they're ones that are easy enough to sort once we're done. Just want to get this canvas to roll up a bit. Of course, if you were going to work on this painting, you might be a little bit more precious with it than I'm being. But I don't have the key to work on this one, so, and I don't have the diamonds either. So this is purely here as a, let's see what we can do with you, rather than not. So I've peeled off the paper to the left hand side, and I'm going to pull the canvas and lay it down so that we've got room for the iron to do its magic. I'm going to do the same again on the middle, and I am tearing the paper, but it's been on and off this canvas so much, it's actually quite forgiving. Okay, so I've pulled that as far down as this last one that we've got here. Pull and flatten, pull and flatten. So we're doing a lot of pulling and a lot of flattening, and then I just need to do the same on the last side. If you have a smaller canvas, this will of course be a lot easier. So I've pulled and flattened that one as well. I'm sure this is like 70 by 90 or something, this canvas. Okay, so we have the last bits. Let's put my tea towel at this edge and let's go. Let's do some more ironing. So again, I'm using the nose of it primarily because I want that to push the crease out. We've partly done it by pulling it, and you can always pull it again more. You know, like when you iron a shirt and you pull up the sleeves to make them move, it's the same sort of thing. You pull by their shoulders and put them around the end of the ironing board. All that sort of stuff that you don't quite know how you learnt to do, but you do it anyway. That's what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to roll the canvas up a bit more, move my tea towel to get this one here. I'm going to pull it up so the nose of the iron pushes it down and straightens it. And I'm going in the direction that the puckers already are. I need to get the top end of that one when I move my tea towel. Let's get this one because it's the last one on this side. Oh, this is working. A treat, people. A treat. I'm just sorry it took me so long to get my iron out. I don't like my iron though. Me and my iron aren't the best of friends. But that's just because I don't like ironing. Okay, so let's get that one out. Now this one is in the middle. So this one, if it needs somewhere to go, we're going to push it to the closest side. There is still a little bit of a pucker in that one. Okay, so there's still a little bit of a pucker in that one, so I'm going to pull off the contact paper over the sticky and just make sure I hold it somewhere else and give it a bit of a pull before I lay it flat, just to make sure that the crease can come out. I've been ironing for that long, my memory card saved. Okay, so just going over this last one down here and this last one at the top. Okay, so let me unplug my iron because we're not friends, so I'd rather get it put away and be done, and shift the tea towel. So let's have a look. So we're now on the opposite side to what we did first, and you can see there, this contact paper ripping is me. I keep tucking them over each other, over and under each other. But look at that. Canvas can be worked on again. The puckers have gone. The glue is definitely still sticky. Got no problem on stickiness. That's me with the contact paper, but even here where we can see there was one, because the glue is not quite as stuck down as well, it's because it never has been as stuck down, but you can now then flatten all these parts that you need to, maybe straighten them up a bit better than what I'm doing. Maybe recover it if you've made such as big a hash job as I have. But you've now got a canvas that's fixed. I'm happy that I figured out how to do that, even if it was a constant wrestle with a big canvas. But to look at the back now, look at that. How much better is that? So we do have pale white lines where the puckers were. They have they're very pale. I think it's because the glue maybe isn't as stuck down in those places as it once was. But it's definitely stuck down enough for you to diamond paint on. So let's find a pucker. So here's where one was. And if we pull back the diamond painting there, so it was here, you can see a faint line, but it is all still sticky all the way down. Same, there's another one here, all still sticky all the way down. Still plenty of stickiness to do your painting. I've got a feeling this lady sent me the inventory sheet with this that could potentially be done with spares, but I can't remember. I'll have to go looking and see if I've got it. But we fixed a dodgy canvas, and it is a nice image actually. So you can see a faint mark or the light change where, see, look, how bad am I? I've done it that many times, it doesn't even leave paper marks on the flipping thing anymore. They just peel straight off, she says. Let me do it with your right hand, you're right-handed. Yeah, it does peel off, it's just taking its sweet time. There we go. So, yeah, fisherman on a boat with a lighthouse. Did look absolutely shocking and stayed looking absolutely shocking for far too long. I do apologise how long it took me to get through it round to this, but canvas is saved and diamond painting can be done. So thank you so much for all bearing with me during that lovely ironing task that I set myself. Apologies for the hashtag to the cover sheet that I've done. It's not like my usual self, but as this is quite a big painting and the idea was, can it be saved or not? That's mainly what I wanted to test out. If you're working yourself on such a big canvas that needs fixing, I suggest that you definitely work in a bigger area and you'll have a lot nicer time. But we now have a flat canvas with now no horrible pockers. So thank you so much for watching. Oh, I need to go make a brew now. And I'll speak to you all again soon.